Oilers Nation After Dark begins now.
Well, it simply was not the Edmonton Oilers weekend. This was the Sunday matinee of all Sunday matinees. You could pretty much take yesterday's ONAD, do it a rerun today, and just kind of play the hits, as a lot of the same issues continue to plague these Edmonton Oilers. It's a stunning lack of offense here to start the season, specifically from the big dogs. While got to say, that third period's probably the best we've seen 97 look, but it's your classic too little, too late. There's been a very big lack of simplicity, and that was the theme in the broadcast of, I'd say, a lack of passion, a lack of everything, a lack of goals today as the Edmonton Oilers lose 4-2 to the Detroit Red Wings, put up an absolute stinker of a weekend, and this road trip can hurry up and end already. But hello and welcome, Oilers Nation After Dark, presented by Bet365. Download the app today, because whatever the moment, it's never ordinary. I am joined by my pal, Matthew Wozniak. Wozzy, tough one that you got to do this one for a post-game show. There's a lot of negatives. It's all about the offense and lack thereof offense for the Edmonton Oilers. Stuart Skinner, while solid, there was kind of one stinker there, the third one against, he wants that one back, but through and through, the Oilers this weekend did not deserve any W's. Give me a vibe check after getting kicked in the dick all weekend. How you doing?
The vibe check is deja vu, because I feel like I saw this last night or yesterday, and I feel like we've seen this the past two Octobers. The Oilers, they're now being coined the October Oilers with how poor they play in this month. For whatever reason, they can't seem to get things going offensively. They looked very dry. It looked like they just kept going back to the same well, and nothing was really working up until that final 5 minutes where they said, hey, oh, there's a hockey game.
Dude, it was like they snapped their fingers and all of a sudden we're like, oh, this is how you, while still not completing every pass, the percentage of completed passes severely increased. You saw McDavid using his speed. You saw Leon Draisaitl score. Also, that play by Brett Kulak on that Draisaitl goal, tell me you didn't think that was 97 at one point when he's turned a certain way. It was good from him, but dude, lack of everything, lack of passion from the Oilers. But let's get caught up in the chat. There's a couple people in here. Final buzzer says lack of shots. Amen, brother. You can say that again. We emphasized it big time on pre-gaming. My storyline, my key to victory: rip the pill, shoot the puck. And I tell you, minute or two, whatever it was, minutes into that game, Connor McDavid, odd man rush, has it right in the slot, passes it off. Incomplete pass. Puck's going back the other way. They are fighting it right now. Psychos is in. Matinee game curse. Am I right? Well, as I mentioned it yesterday, we just look back on it with matinee curses. Last couple of years, the Oilers have actually been okay in matinees. This weekend was classic Edmonton Oilers, what you think of, and low energy, low everything. Lance is in. Also says, hi, Waz. Your response?
Yeah, it's been a depressing afternoon for us Oilers fans and Raiders fans. Let's not bring up the Raiders. They're awful.
Drake May, you got the W. Patriots 3 on the road. There's positive right there. Todd's in. The McDryde body language was bad. Absolutely. Gavin, you want to beat the Oilers? Forecheck hard in the first period. Dalks is in. The third goal was a momentum killer. Yeah, it was. It's a tough one for Stu because he's screened, doesn't see that puck whatsoever. You could argue he probably should be seeing that puck. But Dylan Larkin, he was my player to watch in pre-gaming. Today we switched roles. I was right about the guy that was going to kill the Edmonton Oilers. Tammy's in, says, I'm sad too. There it is. Get some Blue Jays later on in our lives. We can finish the show, talk it out, and then we will move on and focus on Tuesday, trying to salvage whatever moral victories, hopefully a real victory, you can grab out of this 5-game Eastern road swing, because it has been bad with a capital B. That was just 2 periods. That was a tough watch. That game was boring as absolute hell. I saw Liam had a great tweet, and you just said this game is boring as absolute shit. Thank God for Sunday football, because I got the 2 TVs going today. But lifeless performance. And you do need to give credit to the Detroit Red Wings. They played well. They've been on a hot streak. This is now their 5th win in a row. They lost the opener. Bang, they've rattled off 5 in a row against good teams in the Leafs, Panthers, Lightning, now the Edmonton Oilers. Yes, the Red Wings played well. I think they took advantage of their opportunities. They were definitely more consistent, played a 16-minute game. They were the better team, but I can't help but sit here and say this was about the Oilers' lack of skill, of lack of shooting, of lack of pretty much everything it felt like. And yes, credit to the Wings, they get their 2 points, but you kind of pick up what I'm laying down. This was about what the Oilers didn't do more than what the Red Wings did do.
Yeah, I think you described it perfectly because it felt like the Detroit Red Wings were doing everything right in their end of the puck or the zone. I don't know. It was just a very stale performance from the Edmonton Oilers once again. And, the lineup decisions kind of come into question again of why is Knobloch riding McDavid and Draisaitl so often. That isn't even working. That isn't even generating a lot of offense. And it just feels like Knobloch has kind of run out of ideas, or he just doesn't trust certain players in certain situations. Like, the best chance the Edmonton Oilers had in that first period was from Ike Howard getting a pass from Adam Henrique. I'm like, gee, like, what are we doing here, right? And it's like it's so often in this game I was seeing them just, ring the puck along the boards and hoping it would land to a player and they'd have some opportunity of scoring, but it was just very uninspiring.
Yeah, definitely. Lackluster, lethargic was the word I was using yesterday. Nathan just says, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
He also mentioned, I think I'm just going to turn in until January 15th. No, we're along for the roller coaster, and this is a part of the highs and the lows. But for a team in the Edmonton Oilers, struggle to start seasons. This year felt like it was going to be different. They were going to be dialed in, and it started well. The first 2 games you could argue for the Oilers. And this road trip, it has imploded, you'd say. Just offense, not a lot being able to go down and go well. First off, I do want to give shout out to Greta Bar Yeg, my favorite spot in the entire city. Arcade, bar, street food. Also, I'll peel back the curtain right now. I'm producing and hosting at the same time. Shout out me. Shout out Greta. Hey, if you're looking for a place to watch the Blue Jays game tonight, I highly recommend you head on downtown, go stop at Greta, get some pizza taquitos, get some good food, and then hopefully you can see at least one W today. Also, I think our producer just popped back into it. There he is. Was the theme, and I actually got it sounds too simple, but the Oilers need to simplify their hockey game. They were way too cute with the puck this afternoon. They're overpassing. We know their perimeter plays, forcing plays, pucks being bobbled. You could see the frustration on Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl specifically. And it doesn't take a genius to see it. And we saw it be discussed by Bob Stauffer, Gene, in all the intermissions that they need to go back to the basics. Your simple north-south style game. Pucks in deep, drive the net, and for the love of God, shoot the puck when you are in a dangerous scoring area. You look at how the Oilers scored their first goal, the Noah Philp one. That wasn't pretty. That wasn't sexy. It was simple as shit. Podkolzin battling along the blue line says, hey, can't score if you don't shoot. Going to throw it on net. Noah Philp with an absolutely nasty tip. 2 games, 2 goals back-to-back for Philpster there, but was simple hockey, which I do feel in the third period, there was an emphasis on shooting the puck. I saw Connor McDavid start to register in his brain, okay, I'm going to try and get this done myself, playing more aggressive and ripping the pill. But the thing about being a Stanley Cup contender is you can't do that for 20 minutes. You can't do that for 20 minutes out of a 5-game road trip here. And I think the Oilers know what they need to do. I think we all know what they need to do, but they simply could not make the simple plays tonight.
Yeah, there was a lack of creativity, or whenever they tried to be creative, they were being a little bit too cute with the puck, like you said, and it's annoying for sure. And I don't know, I feel like anytime they got any shots on net, they were just very low quality. They didn't really give John Gibson a lot to work with, didn't really stress him out. And unfortunately, on the other end of the ice, the Detroit Red Wings are shooting from anywhere, and it's finding the into the back of the net. they had a player who was just drafted in like the 5th round, score his first NHL goal. He outplayed Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid, you could say. I'm blanking on his name for a minute here. It's been
Emmett Finney.
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 Okay, there you go. Apologies there. But yeah, it's just the Detroit Red Wings were basically punishing the Oilers for every mistake they would make.
Pretty much. Final buzzer's in, and he says, I want to see 60 minutes of McDavid passion. It has been a long time. And yes, Connor McDavid, he is fighting it right now. For the first 2/3 of that hockey game, the first 2 periods, he was refusing to shoot the puck. He was passing up prime opportunities, like I mentioned earlier. Over the summer, Connor McDavid mentioned how he wanted to score 50 goals. I think it was Speck had the tweet. I don't know if he's going to have 50 shots or something at this. Maybe I read that on Reddit. Somebody. That's an exaggeration, but it is true. From everything we thought over the summer about Connor McDavid was he was going to get back to mix shoot. He's going to rip the pill and get it into dangerous areas. That has not been the start. Once again, we saw glimpses of it there in the 3rd period, but he looks visibly frustrated. And I'll just say it, he doesn't look like he's having any fun out there on the ice. His body language is bad. Leon Draisaitl's is bad. I do applaud that. I think in the 3rd period, he found something and started to shoot that puck more, but it applies to McDavid, the whole team. The 60-minute ideal, is however stereotypical and cliche that was. What can you say? And once again, McDavid has 7 points in 6 games to start the season. That is a good start for everybody else, but we expect more from Connor McDavid. And the word I keep using is this has been a very pedestrian start to the season for Connor McDavid.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And you look at some of the stars around the NHL. I mean, Jack Eichel has 15 points in 6 games with the Golden Knights. That's a guy who's been electric to start the year. You're expecting that from Connor McDavid, especially with all the hype around his contract. And it's games like this where you expect Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid to take over, but they're barely even generating chances together over the last 3 games. It's very annoying. And yeah, it's nice to be getting goals from Noah Philp, like a little bit of bottom 6 scoring. Hopefully Knobloch doesn't scratch him or sees that as an issue, because you have been getting some offense throughout the lineup. I mean, Trent Frederick scored on this road trip, but it's really those top guns. And it was great to see Leon Draisaitl score. It was just a simple tap-in, but those are the goals you kind of need from him right now, or you just need some sort of life from those guys. And I don't know what's going on. Maybe they're just trying to overthink every play. And like you said, just try and keep it simple.
The theme over the last several years for the Oilers has been depth scoring. We hear it all the time. But here we are, a couple games of the season. I think the bottom 6 has been pretty good for the Edmonton Oilers. They found moments to produce. They've been good. It is the top dogs in their lack of offense, which once again, they are too skilled and too good to not eventually break through this. And I think you have so many different roster players. You have a different coaching staff. You got no Paul Coffey. You got no Glenn Gulletson. Rome wasn't built in a day. I saw Chris Knobloch say that in the chat here before, but you got to be patient, even though it is a little frustrating. Let's talk about a different guy who always in Oilers land he's a very polarizing player, but Stuart Skinner this evening was. I'm curious what you thought of our boy. He stopped 21 of 24 for an .875. Which, once again, if you're a box score hunter, you're going to say below 900. But I thought he was solid for the most part. There's another theme, and it is the Edmonton Oilers needing huge saves from Stuart Skinner in the opening minutes of hockey games. It's kind of crazy. Also, maybe it's allowing Skinner to wake up early and get into that game. But Skinner was bailing out the Oilers early. He had several good stops, high danger areas against the Red Wings. And then there's that 3rd goal again, and that's always been some of the issue with Stuart Skinner is you need the full 60. You can't allow the stinker. That one's tough. It's a smart headsy play from Dylan Larkin. There is a screen in front. I think it was that Emmett Finney guy. Once again, he had a day today. Stuart Skinner is screened, but I don't think you could sit there after tonight's game, this afternoon's game, and watch that and say that Stuart Skinner was the issue or why the Edmonton Oilers lost. He made some big saves. What'd you think about Stu? I like it, David, in here, and I think it's true. Skinner is not their big problem right now.
No.
I like this one from Todd. Stu is their savior right now, and I fully agree with that. What'd you think of Stu?
Yeah, I thought he was, fine for the most part. Aside from that third goal, I think you should have saved that. You would want him to save something like that, but not every goalie is perfect, and we know that with Stuart Skinner. I don't want to, make excuses for him, but he gave the Oilers a little bit of runway throughout most of the game, and like we've said, this game really came down to the offense again without generating anything, right? And I know there are people who are already blaming Stuart Skinner for this loss because that goal killed momentum. Yeah, you can make an argument for that, but in the same breath, this team shouldn't be relying on singular moments or singular moments in the game to get themselves back into it. They should be always on it, right? Skinner let in that third goal. Okay, let's go score another goal and then another goal. It's just like, don't let it stop. Keep going until the final whistle's blown.
Yeah, I see some people in here. I like this fighting Amish. That game could have gotten out of hand if it wasn't for Stu. Absolutely. I really like problem 7 or 8. Skinner was fine. He's right where he is every year. Hurting Oil Burton, good point. One more save would have been nice, but it still would not have won the Edmonton Oilers hockey game. I don't think they were the better team. I don't think they deserved the win. There's a lot of convo online, and I saw in the chat. I was in Reddit perusing through during this game, but here's Steven and he says, just speaking the truth, Knob Cock has got to go.
Oh, wow.
We are so back. If 6 games in, we're already calling for the head coach's job. The same head coach who in 2 years has gone to back-to-back Stanley Cup finals. Also the man who just signed a contract extension. That's not happening. Everybody, let's take a chill pill. But there is something to be said right now that there isn't a whole heck of a lot of consistency in the lines. We always talk about it with Chris Knobloch, the line blender, and maybe he's not allowing things to cook. We were told all during the offseason, okay, Nuge is going to be centerman this season. He starts as it. He plays well. Then he's put on Connor McDavid's wing. Now he's back to the 2C. We see Connor and Leon play with each other, not with each other. And then that winger spot with Connor and Leon today was just a revolving door of other players. It was Podkolzin at points. Matt Savoy saw Ike Howard getting shifts. And I think there's something to be said. Once again, not an NHL coach, but you do need to let your lines marinate a little bit, especially when you have the roster turnover that the Oilers had this past summer. There's going to be growing pains. You can't overreact to every single bad play here and there. I think there's a little give and take that needs to be done there with Chris Knobloch. Do you agree or disagree?
Yeah, well, I feel like he's at times looked a little stubborn with his lines, like always trying to make something happen with McDry. But I think in the same breath, we have to realize that there was also a lot of change behind the coaching bench. You don't have Paul Coffey there. You don't have Glenn Gultz in there anymore. You got to wonder what the conversations are like between all the coaches, right? Because it's not just sure, Chris Knobloch calls the shots, but, they do work as a collective, right? So there's something to be said there, I think. So, like you said, there's a lot of faces behind the bench and on the ice. There's a lot of new around the Edmonton Oilers, but that still shouldn't be an excuse to why they're mustering up barely any offense right now, especially with the players that they do have. You'd think they'd find a way to get a little bit more creative.
Yeah, he would. Final buzzer. Roslovic is the new Jeff Skinner. There was one. Rossi turned over he forced a turnover in the offensive zone, had it all by himself in the slot, ready to rip it, and then just casually made the play and went around to the boards to try and find the pretty pass, whatever it was. Stuff like that is what has to change here for the Oilers. We're not going to do a Greta Bar-Yeg scoring summary tonight. Had a little hiccup with the clips or whatever, so we're just going to go right into our good, bad, and oily, brought to you by our friends from Noodle. They got a beautiful app available on the Google Play Store or the App Store if you're an iPhone man, such as myself. And once you sign up, create an account, you can redeem all kinds of stuff when you get your rewards points. They have all kinds of great deals, spring rolls, green onion cakes, boxes, whatever you need. Oodle Noodle is fantastic. And I even have a little bit left over from yesterday when I was Bordzy had some beers this weekend, so he hasn't been doing much cooking. So he's ordering in, and I highly recommend, if you are also as hungover as I am, Oodle Noodle might be the answer. Let's kick it off with the good, because the good was few and far between in this hockey game, and I am going with Noah Philp. Firmly believe he was a star in this hockey game. He was a bright spot in this game. 2 goals in the last 2 games in the lineup for the Oilers. That was a beautiful redirection in front, beating John Gibson. And I just love Noah Philp's game. He's a strong
Mhm.
player. He's a north-south type player. We talk about the Oilers lacking simplicity in their game right now. Noah Philp has brought that, and he's brought depth scoring in the bottom six. We just discussed. It's the top dogs for the Oilers who are not making the plays. But my boy Noah Philp right here, simple, in the right spots, in the dirty areas. We saw him get the Jeff Skinner treatment after the last game when he scored his first of the season. Something tells me that Nobby's going to be leaving Noah Philp in the lineup. I thought he was incredible in this hockey game, and maybe Chris Knoblauch, maybe this is the young guy that he will start to give a longer leash to, because I thoroughly think Philp, bright spot in the couple games he's been in here. Matt Savoy could also be the good. I think he's shown some flashes, but Noah Philp deserves his flowers. 2 goals in his last 2 games was.
And I do believe that was Vasily Podkolzin who shot that on net, right?
Yep.
Yeah, but Podkolzin's been also awesome in this game. It's these little complimentary players. I don't want to say little, but they've been giving the Oilers a bit of life in these games, like Podkolzin, like Noah Philp, and hopefully, I mean, you'd assume he'll stay in the lineup. He's been doing so more good than bad when he's been on the ice for the Edmonton Oilers. There's been a lot of positives with Noah Philp's game, and you know, you want that from a young player, a homegrown talent to say the least, right? So Noah Philp has been an awesome story to follow, and Oilers fans are falling in love with him for all the right reasons. And let's just hope the coaching staff rewards him with more minutes. Maybe not the fourth line. Hey, let's put this guy in the third.
It's true. I think he will slowly start earning the leash. I say it all the time, but for Chris Knoblauch to give you that leash, you have to be sound defensively. And I think Noah Philp thoroughly is. He's been good. I'm also laughing at how much autocorrect changes Philp to Philip in the chat.
Yes.
Everybody's trying to correct themselves. McIndry also said Savoy is a default good. He shows flashes. It's going to happen for him. Once he breaks the dam, it's all going to start going. But it's got to get there first. And I keep sitting here after every game saying, what's a guy got to do to see Matt Savoy maybe get a shot up there with Connor McDavid or a Leon Draisaitl? Some stranger like that name. Philp shows up for work constantly. There's an element of like meat and potatoes to him, his game. You know, hard hat, bring your lunch pail, get it done. Simplicity, once again, could be the word. Dalk says too many floaters on the arc. Yeah, was anything else that could be good?
Like I mentioned in there, probably Vasily Podkolzin, because he was finding ways to keep the puck, especially in the offensive zone, and give the Oilers some chance of scoring or putting shots on net. I especially thought when he was on the line with McDavid and Draisaitl, he looked fine. He just always brings this, A+ effort to every game. He's not the perfect forward, but he's very complimentary and he does all the right things, especially on the forecheck.
Talk about another lunch pail guy, meat and potatoes, bring his hard hat to work. That's Vasily Podkolzin. With good comes bad. I think this is obvious. We went with offense and the lack of. The Edmonton Oilers offensively are hard to watch right now. So many incomplete passes that are either missing by an inch or a couple of feet. Who knows at points? Everybody was struggling to make plays on this road trip. It's kind of been a theme. You can say bad ice quality, whatever you want, but puck's been jumping over sticks, just missing by a little bit. And there's been bad luck, bad bounces, but more bad decisions than anything. The lack of shooting, the lack of urgency, all of that. It sounds simple. You need to simplify your hockey game, but they are fighting it offensively and was. There's no more perfect encapsulation, whatever, you get what I'm saying. Perfect example of Leon Draisaitl late in that game getting a breakaway opportunity. Have we ever seen Leon fumble a puck, lose it like that, wide open on a breakaway? This has not been the Oilers' weekend. It's not been their road trip. They're fighting it offensively. The bad, sadly, shockingly, is the offense for the Edmonton Oilers.
Yeah, it's you make a perfect point there, because you anticipate Leon Draisaitl will handle that puck perfectly and score and probably send this game to overtime. That did not happen. The Detroit Red Wings have turned around and score an empty netter, and it's just it sucks to see, because we know what this team is capable of. We've seen the type of goals they can score. Leon Draisaitl, Connor McDavid, they tend to have third period comebacks, and we haven't been seeing it. It's kind of almost uncharacteristic of them to have these kind of showings, I would say. And I think they're going to figure it out. But unfortunately, like we said, it's the October Oilers. For whatever reason, this month has just been there. They can't figure it out. They're a little slow out of the gates.
They're consistently inconsistent in October. Nathan's in, said bad. Connor McDavid. Yeah, said it. Yeah, man, I could totally agree with that. David, the Oilers' offense is offensive. I like that. They look so disconnected. A lot of disconnected controllers today. Absolutely. This one, bad. 7 shots in 30 minutes. You could have taken a nap in the first half of that hockey game, and I don't think you would have missed anything from the Edmonton Oilers. Besides Stuart Skinner making some good plays with bad, we then move to the Oily, where we're going with this road trip. The road trip from hell. We know the Oilers tend to struggle sometimes on these matinee early games, but when you throw in the Eastern Road Swing on top of that, kind of feels like the perfect storm. There you see it on your screen. 3 big orange L's in a row. Final game of the roadie coming up Tuesday against the Ottawa Senators, who are without their leader in Brady Tkachuk. He's going to miss, 6 to 8 weeks with the hand-wrist injury. You can salvage a road trip, yes, with a victory. I'd argue that some of the damage of this weekend has already been done. Need a big bounce back. I've said bounce back way too many times this weekend because no one has bounced back, but was the Oily. The gross has been the road trip so far.
Yeah, I like the way you put that. And they come up against the Ottawa Senators here, who, fingers crossed they can get 2 points off because they have not looked pretty either. They've been allowing goals for fun. The Oilers have been allowing goals, but not egregiously like the Ottawa Senators. So that's a big opportunity there. But those are going to be both teams who are going to be wanting to win. And then they can come home and then they go back on the road again. But it's just about getting the offense going and generating some momentum and, you get the ball rolling. It sounds very cliche, but it's all you can do right now. And kind of go to the drawing board. Try to be a little bit more creative with your lineups, Mr. Chris Knobloch. It's not that hard. Or, sit some players a little bit more than you should, or that I'm just saying there's a player out there that I'm not the happiest with right now, but maybe we'll get into that later.
No, tell me now. Who is that player?
Darnell Nurse.
Dude, we're not in the bad section. Save that for cold performers in just 1 second.
I will.
Yeah, we got some. Let's do it now. Hot and cold performers brought to you by Swiss Donair. Shout out to them. Oh, I could go for a Donair so bad right now. Swiss Donair is the home of the old school Donair with options if you want some flair. Open for 25 years. 25. Now open 7 days a week. The pride of the North Side. Swiss Donair is great for your events at home or office, or I'll say it, when you're hammered or a little bit hungover. Check out their location at 8308 144 Ave Northwest or online at swissdonair.com. Chat, play along, please. Who was hot? Who was cold? Waz, I'll let you kick it off. Let's start positively. Let's go with the hot. I think we're going to agree with the cold performer. Who's your hot performer this afternoon?
Bringing him up again, Vasily Podkolzin, because it seemed like every time he had the puck, he was trying to do something positive with it. He was trying to find either Leon Draisaitl or Connor McDavid, or like he did on Noah Phillips' goal. He just got to the puck towards the net, and next thing you know, it tips off somebody in it. So Vasily Podkolzin continuously works hard and earns his opportunities.
I think there's only a couple options. You got your Noah Philp. He was already the good, so you can't do that. I think it has to be Stuart Skinner. I think he was a hot performer, especially to start that game. I think it would have been a lot worse if Stuart Skinner was not in the net. He's looked good. Once again, box score hunters can see the .875 save percentage all they want. We watched that game. Third one bad. Once again, the whole team was pretty bad. So it is a little bit of slim pickings. And then maybe it's not a hot performer, but I'm okay with saying it, but I want to give some flowers to Andrew Mangiapane because in that third period, we talked about that was the best the Oilers looked all game, probably all weekend in that third period. And it was a couple minutes into the third. Andrew Mangiapane, post whistle, gets in a scrum, starts rubbing some faces, creates something in there. You see a little bit of emotion enter the game there for the Edmonton Oilers. And I don't think it's a coincidence that the Edmonton Oilers started to play with some pace, started to see that momentum build on their side. I think that's something you get from a veteran in Mangiapane. He's not a big guy. He's not a tough guy. He's not a strong guy. But that's something everybody can do to try and drag your team into the fight. And he's a veteran on this team, and I like that new guy getting in there. LC Ryan S. The Vikings showed some emotion. Todd, 88, had energy. Can't say enough good things about the bread man and Andrew Mangiapane so far this season. Now, with hot comes cold. Tell me about him. Tell me about Darnell Nurse.
Well, I just have found Darnell Nurse, whenever he tends to have the puck, he kind of just seems to waste it. Nothing really good has been happening when he's on the ice. And I hate to say that because in the past, I am someone who has defended Darnell Nurse. I have been pro Darnell Nurse, especially early on in the season. I find that he plays some of his best hockey, but recently it's been tough to watch. And maybe that's due to the fact that he's Troy Stetcher as his partner, but for a guy who's making $9.5 million, you'd think he'd be the one who's, elevating his partner. Maybe he's missing Jake Wallman big here. Probably the Oilers are missing Jake Wallman, but I found this stat from NHL Sid on Twitter or X. I'm going to sound like a parrot here because I'm repeating him, but multiple reasons for the Oilers' lack of offense thus far, but Nurse's atrocious puck moving and wasteful point shots have probably played a big role. He adds that on ice, when Darnell Nurse is on the ice, the high danger chance ratio is 8-21. Not good. Not good.
That's bad. I'm willing to say that that's bad. You don't want to make jokes about it, but he's been pretty ass to start the season. He's really, really, really struggling to get pucks out of the defensive zone. When you see Nurse with pressure on him, with bodies around him, it feels more often than not that puck is not successfully leaving the zone. The Oilers are getting hemmed in, getting worked down low, and he's a result of that. And it also even has been transferring into the offensive end. Darnell Nurse loves to dump the puck in, and nothing has been happening so far this season. It's just instantly on the stick of the opposition, and they are then suddenly coming back the other way. It just feels like right now plays are dying on a stick. I pointed out in yesterday's game, 3-on-2, dead down the middle, Nursey, puck, odd man rush, just passes it off to the side. It hasn't been good. We've seen it all throughout the years, and we will continue to see it with Nursey, the good and the bad, but it has been bad. It was a cold performance today from Leon Draisaitl. But once again, you could kind of say that about a lot of Edmonton Oilers. Cold performers could just be the top six in general. Also, quote from Leon Draisaitl here, not creating enough offense. It's certainly not for a lack of effort. It's tough going right now. It's not easy. The game changes when your top guys are feeling it. Just have to take a look in the mirror and figure something out to be better. So Connor and Leon, they know it. They're not dumb. They're aware that they are the leaders of this team and they need to lead from the front. It has not been going their way. Let's salvage it Tuesday against the Ottawa Senators. Is there any other No, let's just leave it at Darnell Nurse and we'll leave it there.
Yeah.
Could pick a lot of Edmonton Oilers. I will say, I thought Evan Bouchard, I was asking for a bounce back performance. He seemed to in this game, at least. He had a different jump in his step today. He seemed to be more active around the ice. I think it was Bruce Kurlock or somebody tweeted out. It was just a great example of what Bouchard does well, taking the puck all the way from his own end, skating it out, head up through the offensive zone, pass, Ekholm, beautiful shot, odd man rush. That's the Bouchard I know and love.
Yeah.
That's what I know he's capable of, skating it up with the puck and not just simply losing it to one Matt Barzell.
There you go.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something.
No, I posted that on our socials. Go ahead.
Attaboy, I'm proud of you. Let's go now. Let's do Bordzy's bankroll, which was Bordzy's bread roll, because Brett did it for me today, and it's brought to you by Bet365. Download the app today, because whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Bert, just pull it up for me, because this one sucks. Because this one's tough to look at. It's 3 red X's. To be fair, when the Oilers are going to put up a performance like that, probably not going to hit many bets. McDavid, 2+ points. Nope, didn't happen. Nuge, anytime goal. Nope, didn't happen. Evan Bouchard, 1+ power play point. Nope, did not happen. That's Brett behind the scenes. And Brett picked these. Also, Evan Bouchard, 6 games now into the season. So I have a bug in my throat. No points was. Did you make any money? Did you profit anything today on Bet365?
No, because I went with that. Thanks, Holden.
Yeah, thanks, Holden. It didn't go well. Sorry, I was dying there. I had a bug in my throat. That
Brett's
don't
bets.
feel much better. I see Brett behind the scenes just shaking his head. We appreciate you, Bert. Also, let's give a quick shout out. I want to do it for Wilhock Beef Jerky. Only the finest tasting meat products earn that sweet Wilhock name. Made from 100% Alberta beef. Their jerky is aged, seasoned, smoked, and marinated to savory perfection. They gladly fill orders of any size, and you can find their jerky, their sausage, and their other products out of their Leduc location. Or for more information, head on down to wilhockbeefjerky.com. So news of note, Kasperi Kapanen did leave the game at, I think it was in the first or the second period. He finishes only with 5 minutes and 43 seconds. So Janmark's already been hurt. We know Jake Wallman has been hurt, but the Oilers today put Alec Regula on injured reserve, which meant that they could activate a Wallman or a Janmark. I don't really know what happened with Kapanen. It was kind of an awkward play down low. He did not return, so we'll have to keep our eyes and ears on that for Kasperi Kapanen, and maybe that's good for some guys like an Ike Howard, maybe a Noah Philp as well, that there will be less competition out there. But the Oilers going to bounce back on Tuesday, brother, because this road trip needs to end with some type of victory. I'll maybe even take a moral victory.
Well, the Edmonton Oilers are currently very hungry for offense, obviously. They're trying to figure it out, but considering the Ottawa Senators seem to allow 4 goals a game, yeah, I'm confident they're going to bounce back. So, and it's going to come with fire and strength. I don't know. I think it's going to be an exciting game in the nation's capital on Tuesday.
I sure hope it is. And I hope tonight is an exciting one as well, because as Nathan points out, I'll take a Jays victory. That will fix my day. Absolutely. You just take all your eggs out of the Oilers basket. Now you put it into the Blue Jays. Nothing like being grown adults and having my sports teams control all of my emotions throughout the day. Fantasy football kicking my ass today. It's been a struggle out there. Walls, I love you. I appreciate you. It's been a jam-packed Oilers weekend of hockey, and I can't say that it has been good hockey. I appreciate you sticking it out with me, doing the post-game show today. Can only really go up from here. However, that's what somebody said today on pre-gaming. Didn't totally happen. Oilers are gonna find a way to bounce back. I appreciate all of you in the chat. We're live tomorrow, 12:01 Mountain Standard Time. Oilers Nation every day. Keep it locked on this YouTube. Make sure you are subscribed. Throw down your courtesy like right now. I already forget who we have tomorrow on the show, but I know it's 2 good guests, and I believe it's an Oilers Nation every day with Liam Horriban. No Tyler. It's a Liam.
Where's Tyler?
So those are the good ones. Those are the great ones. So hopefully we all feel better and we can talk about the Blue Jays tomorrow instead of the Oilers. I love you all. I appreciate you all. Hunker down on the couch. Order some noodle. It'll be fine. We will move past this. Connor McDavid and Leon can only be down for so long. I love you all. I appreciate you all. Talk tomorrow, 12:01 right here on the ON YouTube. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night.